Hello. I want to talk to you about how to improve wellness at work by practicing getting things done, GTD methodology. And indeed, how to improve wellness outside of work, which I'm going to get to later in this video. What I want to focus on is the first three horizons of focus in the Horizons of Focus model, starting with the ground level. So the ground level is where we've got all of our actions, our calendar items and actions, the nitty gritty, the things that we're doing on a daily basis, the calls we're making, the emails we're sending, the meetings we're attending, the conversations we're having. So it's the actions that we're happening minute to minute through the day. Now, one of the great things down at the ground level is that we get these short-term commitments, these little actions that we need to do out of our heads and out of our emails and out of our meeting notes, and we put them somewhere so that we can see them, so that we can review them, reflect on them, and make a trusted choice when we have the time to do something. We do exercises like a mind sweep, for example, which helps relieve the stress because, as David says, our minds are for having ideas, not holding them. So keeping this list of next actions is a great way to start wellness at work and indeed wellness outside work by having the same list of next actions, complete list of next actions for our private non-work items as well. Horizon 1 then, the next horizon up, is what we call projects. So these are the larger things that we're trying to achieve, the short-term goals, if you like. Definition of a project: anything that's multi-step, that's achievable in the time frame of up to a year. Why a year? Well, I'm pleased you asked. It's because we think that at least once a week we should review the things that we're trying to achieve the next few months or up to a year. Once a week, have a check-in on them, make sure they're moving in a way that we're satisfied with. They've got the next action, that they're on track to meet the deadlines that might be happening, and that nothing's falling through the cracks at this larger horizon. So the weekly review, which the project list is the cornerstone of, again, a massive improvement for wellness at work, because you get to have this sense that everything is under control. You're putting your priorities on the right place, or if they're not, you can steer your priorities in a more proactive way. You're on the front foot, taking the lead, rather than being pushed around by other people's priorities. The project list as well is brilliant because it helps us to have really serious grown-up conversations with people we're working with. Most projects will involve other people. And so you can go to your colleagues or your clients or the person you report to or the people who report to you and discuss a projects list. It's less emotive somehow than discussing actions, because conversations about actions just end up with, I'm so busy, I've got so much on, which may well be true, but there's not a lot anyone can do to help you with that apart from to commiserate with you and buy you a coffee. Whereas if you say, this is my projects list, these are the 30 to 50 things I've got on at the moment, and I'm finding it perhaps overwhelming, or I'm not making the progress that I'm happy with it, then there's something they can discuss, and you can probably feel it if you're a boss. You can think, actually, if one of my team came to me and says, these are the 50 things I've got on, you've asked me to do this new thing, where does that fit in with these other projects? That's a useful conversation. You can look at them, maybe you can put some on hold, you can delegate stuff away from this person onto something else. So the project list enables great conversations, again, both at work or at home, because at home your projects are likely to include other people as well, be that a partner or family member or friend, and you can say, these are the things I think we should be focused on at the moment, which is much better than just saying, I'm sure we should be doing something. The horizon above, horizon 2, areas of focus and accountability, are the roles you're playing, the things you're responsible for. At work, it's largely can be seen as your job description, but there are things that aren't on your job description that maybe you should be paying some attention to. Your relationships with colleagues, your clients. It probably says on your job description that you should look after your clients, but have you got a list of your clients? Have you got a list of the things you should be paying some attention to, some focus on a regular basis? They're the ongoing things in our lives. Now, it's a simple thing to do. You can do a mind map. You could write a list down of your areas of focus just to make sure that you're paying attention to all of them, because sometimes there can be a real sense of a lack of control because there's something else you should be doing. You've just spent all your time working on this one type of work, and your job is more nuanced, more sophisticated than that. Areas of focus as well, it leads me to consider, your personal areas of focus. So what are your personal areas of focus? Yes, you may be a parent, or a child, a friend, you have hobbies and culture and adventure, other things that might be going on in your life, fitness, health. Those are all areas of focus that you need to pay attention to. Now, sometimes, and I'm sure you've had this experience, you have a weekend, or maybe a long weekend, or maybe even a holiday, and when you go back to work, you don't feel as rested or as fresh as you were hoping to, or as you thought you would. You surprisingly, haven't quite had the reset that you wanted. There's a lot of conversation. People are often talking to me about how can I switch off from work when I go home? How can I switch off in the evenings? How can I switch off quickly at the weekends? And GTD gives you that. It does help you with that. But I think there's also the inverse, the opposite is important. How, when I'm going to work, do I switch off from home life? And I don't mean to forget about home life. I don't want you to forget that you've got a family and friends when you go to work. But you do want to be able to sort of say, actually, that was a really good weekend, or that was a really good break, that was a really good evening. Now I can go to work and focus, because if you're going to work and you've got outstanding projects that aren't under control, you've got outstanding actions that haven't got done at home, or indeed you've got areas of focus that aren't being paid attention to. You haven't spent any time doing fitness, you haven't spent any time seeing friends or family or culture in a way that you're happy with, then when you're at work, you can't switch off, and that will niggle away to you. And indeed, it may even lead to resentment that, you're having to be at work when in fact you've got all this other stuff on. So getting the areas of focus mapped out so that you can review them and make sure that you're paying attention to all the areas of focus that matter. Getting projects both at work and at home that you're able to review and make sure that you're making meaningful progress on them, and having actions that you're able to trust that you will look at when you're able to do them, will mean that both at work you'll be able to focus at work and not be as concerned about the things that are going on in your personal life, and at the weekends hopefully you will be able to leave work at work and enjoy and get the reset that you need, helping improve wellness both at work and at home. I hope that's useful.